Welcoming into the program, Rey R.T. Trevino III, oil and gas expert and host of The Crude Truth. He is Director of Operations for the Pecos Country Operating. Thank you so much, Rey, for coming on.
Well, thank you, Stacy, and thank you for your service to this great nation.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. So let's talk about this. Nothing delights my cold little black heart more than cheap gas. When I go to the pump and the gas is cheap, I feel the hot patriotism of America flowing through my veins because I know how much oil and natural gas we have under our feet, how much coal, how many natural resources we've been blessed with, and I love it when we put that to work and put it to action on behalf of Americans who can then spend the rest of their disposable income on other things like saving, investing, paying down debt, buying homes, putting their kids in good schools. These are things that I believe are made possible by our oil and natural gas industry. So talk to us about the future, which could be right now with the prices.
Yes, right now we are definitely feeling already that Trump bump as far as the economy as a whole goes. Before the election, the market and the traders and investors out there, you could already tell we're predicting a Trump victory. For the price of a barrel of oil has not changed actually now in about 2 weeks. We've been hovering between that $68 and $70 oil since about a week before the election and even now. And what that really signifies, Stacey, is that we should have a very strong economy for Americans to travel, but more importantly, like you said, spend their money, invest their money, and grow their money over the next 4 years.
So the possibility is that it could be below $3 a gallon average across the country before the holiday?
We could possibly see that. Usually we won't see the effects at the gasoline pump for about 2 weeks. So I'd say another week and we could possibly definitely see above a little below average. I know in places like Kentucky down to Texas, we're already at about $2.80 a gallon of gasoline.
Those are Trump 2017 prices.
They sure are.
Ooh, we really want that in the Midwest. We need it to spread up to Missouri. Just bring it on up a little bit, Rey.
We're working on that, at Pecos Country Operating, we're doing our best to drill, baby, drill. And as I like to say, Stacy, produce, mama, produce. Because, it is one thing to drill those oil wells, but then we got to make them produce. And right now here in America, we are producing the most oil in the world. That's right. We're producing 13 million barrels a day in America, while OPEC is producing 9 million barrels a day. So I want to say thank you to all the hardworking men and women out there in the oil and gas sector that is producing that oil. And what that really signifies, Stacey, is that we have fought inflation for the last 3 years, and we fought it with one hand tied behind our back because this current administration has only wanted to do nothing but destroy the oil and gas industry and get rid of millions of Americans' good-paying jobs.
So you deserve thanks for that, especially those numbers. So OPEC has cut production. Do you expect them to stay in that same vein once President Trump is in office?
A lot of people do not understand the great relationship, actually, that President Trump had with Saudi Arabia. I do expect President Trump to literally cut off Iran, who viciously was part of the attacks on our brothers and sisters in Israel just a year ago. Because of the only reason Iran could do that was because of the billions of dollars that they made when President Biden lifted the sanctions on their oil production that President Trump put in. The thing about that is if President Trump puts those sanctions back on, hopefully we can then get the Keystone Pipeline put back into play and get that oil from our neighbor, Canada, and it should be able to replace that Iranian oil. The other thing that we're really hoping that we could see is us actually battling Russia and get them to actually hurt them in the pocketbook and hopefully stop this horrific war in Ukraine.
Yeah, so instead of funding the war so it can go on forever, cutting off all of these supplies so that people have to come to the table, people being the president of Ukraine, Zelensky, and then the president of Russia, Putin. Both of them should be at the table with President Trump and other leaders who might be interested. Really, the two of them have to be there, and there has to be a cessation of the fighting and a negotiation for the end of the war. I agree with you. All of these things are oddly connected somehow. It's almost as if the things that you say and the things that so many of us have said about oil and natural gas industry being the cornerstone of our entire economy and our foreign policy, as if that's true.
Let's say this, and I'm going to say this. There's a great book out there called The Prize by Daniel Yergin, and it opens up when Winston Churchill, who by far is one of the, greatest men that's ever lived on this planet, he was actually anti-oil until Germany showed up in the ports of England with the first diesel steam-powered battleship. And he knew right then and there, if Britain wanted to continue to be the king of the seas, they had to transfer over. The only reason we are who we are today is because of the power that we've generated and through the oil and gas industry, that we are the superpower that we are. We would have created the pharmaceuticals, the computer chip. We would have created nuclear without oil and gas.
So the most important thing for us to do is to support the incoming Trump administration agenda that would return us to energy dominance. And I mean, I'm actually surprised by the numbers you've shared here tonight. Under the Biden administration, the oil and natural gas industry has really been just kind of forcing production, because the Biden administration has tried so hard to stop anything new from being explored or brought up out of the ground.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you brought that up because of two things, and I want to start with drill, baby, drill. And what Trump really means by that is, one, we've been producing more oil now under the Biden administration than any other administration in America's history. But now, that's a great thing. The bad effect on that is that we have not been drill, baby, drill and replenishing any of that oil that we have been using. So hopefully we can do a twofold effort. One, President Trump will lift the regulations in the Gulf of Mexico. And these regulations, for all your listeners out there, are ridiculously extra stringent regulations that were put there to hinder us from producing oil. We have some of the cleanest rules. The EPA has done great things in the past, okay? But all these rules have hindered us, Stacey, and hopefully we'll get those regulations lifted, because only two things actually move the needle on the cost of oil. That is OPEC and our offshore drilling, because we produce so much in the Gulf of Mexico that we can fight there as well on the amount that we produce, rather than just opening up the spigots of what we produce. The other great thing hopefully we'll be able to do under this administration is hopefully at least get our strategic petroleum reserves up to at least 50%. Stacey, the only way we're going to be safe and secure is by being energy secure and energy safe. And once America is energy secure, the world will be secure.
We won't have to rely on dictators to provide our oil to us, like Venezuela or Russia. I think the issue that Americans also have is that while you're sitting here, ringing out the truth on this program, there's so many more Americans who just don't understand the oil and natural gas industry. They don't understand how many of their products are derived from oil, how much of their lives are built on an oil-based platform, and how convenient our lives are because of it. They just think that oil and natural gas is something that comes out of the ground and goes into our cars and maybe into our HVAC systems. We need more education on this.
Absolutely. And the people don't understand that when they flip the switch on the electricity, 9 times out of 10, that's coming from a coal-powered electricity plant or a natural burning electricity power plant that creates that electricity. And something else I want to talk about. First of all, thank you so much for mentioning my show, The Crude Truth. Would love to have you on. But
I'd love to join you.
I'd love to do a shameless
I'd love to join you. You tell me when. You say when.
I will get with your people for sure. But I just am about to release on Sunday an episode with U.S. Congresswoman Victoria Sparks out of Indiana, which I'm sure some of your listeners probably know. And she said this on my show, that Republicans have 6 months, not 18 months, 6 months to get it right, to really do the things and support Donald Trump, President Trump, like you mentioned a few minutes ago. And that's why I wanted to mention that we really need to hold our Republicans that we voted in office accountable immediately on January 20th to make sure that we continue down this road of success for every American, whether they believe the same as me or not.
So the idea here is that the oil and natural gas industry is not a partisan industry, because every American takes part in the use of the fruits of their labor. Every American, whether you're here lawfully or not, whether you're rich or poor, right? You can even be a green energy nut job, and you can be driving, a Tesla, those are beautiful cars, but you're still partaking in oil and natural gas. You can't escape it in this country. Even if you lived in a nuclear neighborhood, which we actually don't have many of those, you're still using products, the petroleum-based products you're rubbing into your skin after you get out of the shower. Your laptop, your phone have components derived from oil. Everything in your house, if it's not made of wood or glass, has an oil derivative as a component of it. So people have got to stop acting like this is something, well, just, those horrible conservatives want to keep using that filthy fossil fuel. You're using it. Are you brushing your teeth with a toothbrush? What do you think the plastic in the toothbrush, that is an oil derivative. So I think we need more education, and we need to get back our energy dominance so that we're more free to be able to explore and provide the abundance that it's just a gift that we can have so much oil, so much natural gas, so many resources under our feet that we can just draw up and use to have an advanced society.
Absolutely. Stacey, two things there. First of all, I love how you use the word dominant. A good friend of mine from the Americans for Prosperity group out of Texas, Genevieve Collins, she says when Texas is energy dominant, America is energy dominant. And that's the truth. The other thing I want to say is this, that I know that when we are drilling oil wells, when the men and women are out there working hard in the 100-degree weather, negative 20-degree weather, and everybody that's in the offices, nobody's sitting there saying, oh, man, I hope the green people don't get this oil. Nobody says that, because we do a job for the American people. It is not bias. There is no color. It is providing basically everyday goods and services and the modern conveniences for everybody.
We need so here's my thing. I'll go ahead and confess to everyone tonight. I was born for this. I was born for the advanced society, the central air, the forced air natural gas heating. I was made for the air conditioning in cars and on trains and planes. I was made to fly. If I have to drive more than 5 hours, I can just take a flight. And all of these things are powered by fossil fuels. I was made for this era. I wasn't meant to be born in the 1400s or the 1800s. It was the 1900s and 2000s. That's why God let me be born during this time, because he knew I need these advancements. He knew it. We can't go back.
Exactly. All these modern conveniences are brought to you by the oil and gas industry.
That's right. That's right. And I'm not kidding about it. This isn't something like, I don't get paid to tell you that oil and natural gas is the spice of your life. I'm telling you because it's the truth. It's the truth.
Yes, ma'am. I love it. Oil and gas is the spice of your life.
It's the spice. Come on. And we're in pumpkin spice season, and not everybody loves pumpkin spice. So I won't use pumpkin spice, but the spice, the actual spice of your life, I don't care if you're a person who likes mild food or if you want the, a 10,000 degree volcanic heat in your mouth. Whichever, you understand spice. You understand food is nothing without spices. Your life is nothing without oil and natural gas. I'm not kidding.
Absolutely.
All right, so tell everybody their marching orders. Ray, we have wonderful Thanksgiving holiday coming up. Some people will travel, some people will drive, some will fly. Everyone will be really grateful to sit around the table with friends and loved ones. And I feel like there's so much going on with the transition, but I don't want to get distracted away from some of the really key points that we as voters and supporters of this new agenda and this new team coming in will need to kind of continue to support and also advance some key issues having to do with oil and natural gas and the industry that you're so clearly a leader in. Give us any marching orders you would hope we would have, especially for next year once Trump's actually in D.C.
Well, I definitely want to start off by saying that definitely, for everybody out there, hold those politicians that you voted for accountable. Make the phone calls, talk to them, bombard their offices and say, keep your promise. The other thing I do want to say, Stacey, is you're absolutely right. We're about to have a wonderful time called Thanksgiving that commemorates America being founded. And just enjoy being with your loved ones. Whether you're left or right, enjoy the blessings of being with your family, because at the end of the day, no matter what, family and friends is the most important thing in the world.
It is. And we have a great victory to celebrate over this Thanksgiving holiday. And if you're going to have a mixed table, right, I'm going to be so pleased. But if you have a mixed table, if you have a table of people who maybe didn't vote for Trump and you just feel so good, just bask in the joy of knowing what's coming in January, what's already really here. So many changes happening and he's not even been sworn in. And just love on those people, because unlike the Biden administration, which was bad for everyone, the Trump administration will be good for everyone. It will be good for Americans. And even people who didn't vote for him will receive the benefits just like they did in the first term. So, just say, God bless us, everyone, and make sure and give everybody extra hugs and kisses, especially if they're a little miffed because Trump won. They're going to be okay. They're going to be better than okay.
Absolutely. It's all going to be okay no matter what. I believe in God, and at the end of the day, he controls everything.
He does. He is totally in control. And so we can ease up a little bit, but we got answered prayer and a victory last week. Come on. And you got to be floating on that.
It's exciting.
So exciting. I want to tell everyone one more time, The Crude Truth is his podcast. It says there is a truth about crude oil, and you can get that on this podcast. It's thecrudetruth.com. You've got to listen to this. Ray, thank you so much for coming on. Happy Thursday.
Thank you, Stacey, and thank you to everyone out there. God bless, and I look forward to it again. Thank you all very much.
We'll have you back. We'll talk to you again soon. He is actually also Director of Operations for Pecos Country Operating, and you can find out more about that at pecosoperating.com.